cohort number 3. Today, we're going to be talking about how to build that sustainable momentum that's going to help you continue to cultivate that joy in your life for the long haul, even when things get a little bit rough and a little bit challenging. So today, I'm going to share my screen and we're going to get started. All right. So, Clarity Cohort, in fact, all of the Clarity collection, are to help you learn to simplify that path to peace by seeking clarity. So, let us move on to number 3, creating lasting change and cultivating joy. So, I want you to think about this. If you're tired of feeling overwhelmed and you just want simple, actionable steps to regain control of your life, then this event is for you because that's what we're going to focus on. We're focusing on how to bring more ease into our life. And if you're ready to stop spinning your wheels, then you are wanting to start a more meaningful progress towards your personal goals, your professional goals, whatever it might be, then you are in the right place because that's what we're going to be focusing on today. And if seeking clarity and calm amidst all the daily hustle and bustle is what you're all about, then you're in the right place because that's what we're getting ready to do. Here's a little bit about me. I'm Cindy. I am a self-expansion coach, and I'm a wife, a mom, and a caregiver. I'm also a multi-passionate grannypreneur, as I mentioned before, and I am the visionary behind the Courage Hub, where we host the Mind Moments membership and the self-expansion experience. I'm so glad to have you here in my she shed for cohort number 3. Let's do a little bit of a review, though, of the first 2 cohorts. So, the outcome for the first cohort was learning how to identify your triggers. And I'm giving you an intention statement here, and I'd like for you to read what you see on the screen. I face challenges head on, using them to grow stronger and more resilient every day. I'm committed to making this a lasting part of who I am. I find that intention statements really help solidify what we plan to do. Because when we are in a state of constant motion versus that procrastination, both of those are avoidance mechanisms. And we talked about this in cohort 1, that it's that constant busyness that really distracts us and keeps us from digging in and settling on a way to address those deeper issues that might be just festering below the surface. And procrastination is another way of just delaying what we think needs to get done because we're not sure of what direction we want to take. So both of these lead to the point where clarity is essential for us to move forward and to be able to break that cycle with meaningful, intentional steps. And that's what today is about, learning how to do that. In cohort 2, we talked about resilience and inner strength, learning how to manage our stress in ways that bring balance to our life. So, your intention statement for today is I manage stress in a way that brings balance to my life, giving me the clarity that I need to live with intention and purpose. It's a bold statement. And in that cohort, you were working on writing your purpose statement. And let me click it here and show you what that looks like. There is a template there for you to write your purpose statement. We focus on core values, on the impact that we want to have in our life, how that aligns with things that we want to do and where we want to go in the next year, 5 years, 10 years, and then really being able to put it into a succinct, personal mission statement. So if you haven't done that already and written down your purpose statement, I'd like for you to go back to the portal, check it out, and spend a little bit of time working on that purpose statement because you will be using it over and over again throughout the coming days and weeks. Because you and I both know that even when we have everything planned out, sometimes there still comes times where we feel overwhelmed, directionless, and disillusioned. And we talked about this in detail in cohort 2. And when we lack clarity, we can create really some significant challenges for us when it comes to managing conflicts or unexpected issues and dealing with all the multiple responsibilities that we high achievers have. And it really leaves us feeling overwhelmed and disillusioned. And we need to address these underlying factors so that we can gain the clarity we need to be able to move forward and handle whatever life puts in our way. So that's what we talked about in the second cohort. And now, here we are with our intention statement for today's session, how to implement these techniques. So, your intention statement for today is I choose to be proactive, using these tools to move from reacting to life's up and downs to living with a clear, focused intention. So, let's get started. I want to tell you just a little bit about me. When I look back over my life and I see how busyness became a way of just avoiding facing all of the emotional struggles that were kind of piling up in my life. I was an overachiever and I often took on lots of responsibilities, I guess to make myself feel worthy. And it really masks some of those deeper issues in my life that I needed to address. I was working on getting my master's degree. I mentioned before that I was going through a divorce, and then my son's conviction and spending time over 25 years being incarcerated. It really pushed me to a point where I was just busy and I was so caught up in all of the things that were going around that I ended up with chronic migraines and depression. And that was a big wake-up call for me. It made me realize the need for clarity in my life and the importance of aligning what I do on the daily with my true goals. Because the way I was doing it before wasn't working, and it really took its toll on me. And so I want to encourage you to think about that in your life. If you are ready to get started and to really challenge some of those things that have been kind of keeping you stuck, then let's go. Let's get started with cohort 3, creating lasting change and cultivating joy. It's by transforming our obstacles into growth opportunities that really foster that true joy and that lasting fulfillment. And not just those things that can bring us joy in the moment, but things that can bring us joy for the long haul. And that's what this is all about. And we're going to be setting the stage for this lasting change. And so I've got a few questions that I want to share with you on, and they're going to help provide some insight and really help you create an action plan so that once this clarity cohort is over, then you will be able to continue to live in that clarity, in that state of ease and comfort, even when things get a little bit hectic. So, the first question is, what tasks or hobbies do you find that yourself losing track of time because they bring you so much happiness? Not just a sense of accomplishment, but what are some of those tasks and hobbies that really bring you happiness? Write them down, and if you want to, you can pause this recording and answer these questions so that you can get the most out of this particular concept here is really doing some brainstorming, doing a brain dump, getting things out there. And number two, are there any daily routines or goals that feel more like obligations rather than sources of joy? We all have those things. And let's write them down and then kind of brainstorm. Think about how could you adjust those things to better match what you genuinely care about. Think about that. Write that down. Do some brainstorming on it. And the third question is when you think about your week ahead, so in the coming days, how can you plan your time to include more activities that align with what makes you feel content and true to who you are? And I'll tell you what, we high achievers often lose track of that because so much of our time is spent doing for others. And this setting the stage for lasting clarity and cultivating that joy on the day to day is being able to pinpoint what are those activities that we can do more of so that we can feel content and really in aligned with what makes us tick and what lights us up. So we're going to learn and focus on identifying and addressing the areas where we don't feel lit up. So when we are lacking clarity, we really want to reflect on whether there may be deeper issues at play. So, for one, it's burnout. That's a big one that people often get caught up in, and they're not even sure how they got there. There's silent symptoms of burnout that get you kind of on the path to full-blown burnout. And we need to really focus on what those are and be kind of tuned into those things so that we can address them early on. It could be some unfulfilled needs in our lives, things that really we're feeling are lacking, and unresolved stress, things that keep us stressed consistently. Not just the things that come up here and there, but the things that keep us stressed consistently. Being able to address those root causes can make a big difference and make it so much easier for us to implement the changes we want to in our day to day so that we can move forward with ease. I like that term, and we're going to use that often. So, I've written a book for you. It's called The 10 Tranquil Solutions for Trigger Management. And in our world, we who are multi-passionate, high achievers, we tend to pour our dedication into every single endeavor. And when we do that, we need to envision a journey that's led by ease and confidence and not just willpower. We want to learn to lead with our well-being, and this workbook helps you to do that. It offers practices and examples and insights to help you really tune in to your unique talents so that you can shine brightly, and it'll free you up from some of that unmonitored stress and debilitating burnout that is keeping you stuck. So let's look for just a minute inside the book. I'm going to give you a little bit of a walkthrough. So it's 17 pages long, but it is a fun and enjoyable thing to go through because it offers solutions. And I am very passionate about helping high achievers find solutions. So we're going to find in this book proactive practices for lasting contentment and things that can help you shine bright. And through this book, you're going to learn more about the power of consistency and daily actions that really make a difference. Being able to find strength and peace in your spiritual connections and those activities that you can do that are proactive practices, not reactive. We live a lot of our life reacting to things, and the goal to finding more ease and confidence in your life is to learn how to be more proactive. So I want you to think about this. Triggers can serve as catalysts for personal growth and self-awareness. But if they're mishandled or not addressed when they come up, they can also lead to emotional distress and hinder our progress. And that may be why you're here today. I want you to do a little bit of a checklist. Think about your clarity, think about your goal setting, and I give you some things to look over and to think about and a place to write notes in this booklet. So it's an awareness checklist, and it's an opportunity for you to really become more aware of those triggers in a variety of categories and see where you want to tune in and tweak things so that you can feel like you are on top of things instead of always behind the eight ball. And then we talk about some daily habits for sustainable success. I offer you 10 practices to help you thrive in a fast-paced world. And then there's a mindfulness progress checklist for you to check and see how you're doing. All right, let's get back to our presentation now that we've done a little bit of a review on what's in that book for you to enjoy when you have the time to go back through. All right, we are talking about learning how to positively reframe the things that are happening in our daily life. So there is an activity in the portal for you to do, and I'm going to start the activity with you and then let you continue on your own when you visit the portal. So let's look at this here. It is how to positively reframe some of the things that you might be going through in your life right at this moment. I'm going to give you some examples. And then as you practice this, you are going to be able to shift those thoughts into more neutral ones and be able to find that silver lining. And that's where you build that resilience. And that's where you're able to support yourself in real time when things come up that might, set you in a tailspin. So let's look here. Let's say there's some challenges here with things that are going on in your life and you're overwhelmed with work or life demands. I mean, you are just feeling really overwhelmed. And a positive reframe is for you to think of it this way. I'm learning to prioritize and set boundaries. And these are going to help me manage my time more effectively. So I give you space for you to write that down. When there's a pencil, that means get your notebook out, write down, do some brainstorming on this particular challenge. There's several for you to go through when you have time to focus on some of these challenges. Here's another one. I'm not making progress fast enough. We say that to ourselves a lot. It's just not happening. And a positive reframe for that would be for you to say to yourself, you know what? Every small step forward is a sign of growth and progress. I'm building a strong foundation. And I know these sound simple, but often we do not take them to heart. And we still beat ourselves up, even though we know that we're making progress as we go along, but we get caught up in those thoughts, those chain of thoughts that go in our mind that try to pull us back into that old way of thinking. So this is just a good reminder for you. And I'm going to share one more with you. I made a mistake at work, or I made a mistake with my kid. I made a mistake with my spouse, and then we dwell on it and we stress over it. A positive reframe is for us to remind ourselves that mistakes are opportunities to learn and to improve. And through these experiences, we are better prepared for the next time. We are not perfect. We think we want to be, but we're not. And this is just a reminder that you can make mistakes. You're allowed to be a work in progress. And so give yourself permission to do that. All right. Like I said, there are a number of these in the portal for you to utilize, these exercises on how to positively reframe things that are going on in your life. And so let's move on to the next part, which we worked on the mindset for a second there, doing these reframes, thinking about them. And then it's time for you to set some intentional goals, whatever it was that brought you to this clarity collection, things that you had in mind that you want to do. And if you're having trouble delineating what those things are that you want to do for yourself, then I have written what I call what's called the deserted island dilemma. And it's just a fun way for you to focus on your goals with your values in mind. And it walks you through the process, an easy way to walk through the process of defining what your values are, and then focus on what you do on a daily basis that can truly bring you joy and contentment, rather than just aiming for, being productive or getting a good report from somebody. Being able to just do things for the pure joy of it and to feel contented in those things that you're doing. Another way for us to break that cycle of perfectionism and stress and worry is for us to allocate some time periods where we set really strict limits on some things in our day to day that take away from what means the most to us. That's why we do this. That's where that clarity comes in. Thinking about what you really value, thinking about what you want to do with your time, the impact you want to have, your mission in life, regardless of where you are and what stage you are or season in life. There are things that we all do that kind of steal that time away that we could be using more wisely. Time boxing for joy is a way of doing that. And in the portal, there is a form that you can print and practice using that is going to help you put limits on certain things. It could be social media. It could be that you enjoy reading, but you do a lot of reading and it takes away from other things that you might want to do, or it puts some stress on you because then you're not getting other things done. So, this time boxing is an opportunity for you to do that, to just think about what your top priorities are, some activities that you want to limit. I mean, every one of us, I think, has things that we want to limit, and we don't necessarily do it strategically. And this is going to help you do that. And then just doing a brain dump on it, thinking about it, writing it down, setting some time, and practicing it. And you know what? You're not going to have to fill this out every single day. But if you fill it out for a few days in a row, and get yourself set up for success, you will see a big difference in what you're able to accomplish and how you feel throughout the day. And then a big one for us high achievers is to reframe productivity. I don't know how many times I've talked with people, whether it's in one of the cohorts or through conversations we have on Facebook and in our Mind Moments membership, where people feel like they wasted their time because they were playing or they were doing this or doing that. You know what? Self-care is not an option. It is really core. It's a core part of that long-term productivity. So, in order for you to be more productive, doesn't mean you do more. It means you step back, you take time to recharge so that you're able to do more. You're able to think more clearly. You're able to focus because you have given your brain a chance to decompress. That is something we rarely take um, seriously, is giving our brains a chance to decompress. We're always thinking. And so I want you to spend a little bit of time focusing on that for yourself. What are some areas in your life that sometimes you feel a little bit guilty about? And how can you reframe that and let yourself be okay with taking a break and giving yourself time to decompress? And here we are talking about that guilt again. Prioritize slowing down. So you may have a big goal for yourself when it comes to cleaning out that junk room, or it comes to working on a project that you really need to get done. It's not a weakness to slow down. It's a strength, because it gives you a chance to think about what you're doing, to focus a little bit more on some of the finite details that maybe you let slide when you just power through. You know what I mean? It's not just about achieving and getting things done, but it's about sustaining that energy and infusing it with joy. And so I don't want you to feel guilty for taking time to figure out what is it going to take to incorporate more joy into your day to day. And we do that with these anchor moments. And we talked about this in cohort 1. Call them your joy anchors, those small intentional practices that bring you moments of joy in your daily routine. So consistently, daily, not just a moment here or there, but a movement, an opportunity for you to enjoy those moments every single day, not just on special occasions. And these are those personable, repeatable actions that help you reconnect with your joy, even in busy and stressful times. And there is an exercise that we talked about in cohort 1, and you'll find it in the portal for you to focus on those anchor moments. And so I encourage you to go back and revisit that when you are feeling stressed, or maybe you're getting ready for a really busy time of year, and you want to make sure you're being proactive and you're going to fortify yourself with moments of joy. Get out that activity and set up those anchor moments so that you are doing those on a consistent basis. It's by building these supportive habits in our daily routine that we are going to be able to sustain the joy, sustain the calm, sustain the ease that comes with having things in place so that we can reflect, so that we can utilize our gratitude practices and just enjoy the day. Enjoy the things that bring us joy and tweak the things that don't bring us joy so that they can be moments of joy for us. So in our Facebook community, there is what I have posted in there. It's called the Joyful Habit Swap. And if you, and the link is in the portal so that you can access this. And it's an opportunity for you to get in there and remind yourself of some of those things that you can do that bring you joy. There's morning boosters, mindful moments, creative sparks, and this post is going to help you revisit that on a regular basis and share some of your ideas in the comments so that you can support others along the way as we focus on what brings us joy. All right. Another thing I think is so important, and I want you to think to remember this, is to write it down. And I know you hear a lot about journaling and writing it down, but it can make a significant difference in the likelihood of you being able to follow through with what you want to do in a set time frame. And I want to share with you a study, and Dr. Gail Matthews, she is a psychology professor at the Dominican University in California. And she did a study and she found out that individuals who commit their goals to paper, so they write down their goals, are 33 to 42% more likely to achieve them compared to people who just think about what they want to do, but don't actually write it down. They don't commit it to paper. So that's a big difference. 33 to 42% more likely to achieve your goals. So writing things down is an important step to being able to accomplish the things that you want to accomplish without being overwhelmed and stressed. And that's why I have created this commitment contract for you. And creating this contract is a pretty personal process that you'll go through. Everyone's goals are going to be different, so we're not going to go through it here in this training, but we're going to let you reflect on it. There are some resources in the portal to help you reflect on it. And and I'd like to encourage you to do it, to actually create your own contract. But take your time, reflect on what is important to you, and tailor what the prompts are to your specific needs so that this contract will be a useful tool for you. It's a way of writing it down. And remember, we said that you are up to 42% more likely to accomplish what you want to accomplish if you write it down. So let's take a look at that commitment contract. When you click on the link in the portal, it is going to take you to a template page. And what that means is there is a template, and it's in Canva. And if you use Canva, you will be able to open up this template and actually write in it and edit it right there on the screen. I'll also put a link in there for you to download it if you just want to use a PDF and print it off and write it by hand. It's completely up to you as to how you do it. But when you do it, you'll scroll down and you'll see that you can edit this template, or you can use it for a new design. So it's up to you how you want to use it. And then it goes through the steps. So defining your goal, identifying your why, and then setting some time frames and setting up an accountability plan. So I walk you through it with the instructions on there so that you can write your own commitment contract. But you know what? You're not alone, because if you want some help in filling that out and you're thinking, "Hey, that's too much for me. Forget that. I'm not going there." Well, I am offering to give you some personalized guidance in setting up that commitment contract. And I want you to consider taking me up on it. It's a complimentary call. It's an expansion call. And when we get on the call, we're just going to walk through that commitment contract together. We're going to help you kind of refine your goals and ensure that that your contract that you're making is going to align with your values and the lifestyle that you want to live. So, in the portal, if you would like some help working on your commitment contract or anything else that you have learned about in this cohort collection, then schedule an expansion call with me. Make sure you jot down what it is you'd like to talk about, and then I'll help you go through that. And it's in the portal under the next steps section, which is down toward the bottom of the modules. And so we've got to talk about what if it's not working? What if everything I've told you, you've already tried and it's not working and it's not happening the way you envisioned it and things are just helter-skelter for you? Sometimes even when we put our best foot forward, we still have trouble and we can feel like the progress is slow, or we may be in a season of life where our emotional load is just draining our energy and our motivation. And so I want you to know that it's okay to adjust your approach to life. Just because you've always done it that way doesn't mean you have to continue to do it that way. It's okay to take a break and say, you know what? This is more than I can handle right now. And it's okay to ask for support because sometimes if it's not working, there's something that we're just not getting. And it's okay to ask for support because sometimes people can help you reflect and adjust what you're doing. Ensure that what you are working on is aligned with your evolving sense of self and joy. You are evolving. We're all evolving, moving forward, facing new things in life that we've never faced before because there isn't really a handbook, is there, to daily life? And so it's important that we regularly evaluate what's going on, evaluate our progress, and just adjust it when we need to. Be okay with changing things, with forgetting things, with saying, you know what, that's it. That's not working for me. Doesn't mean you have to forget it forever, but maybe just put it aside for a while and work on something else or try another approach. Because you're going to face resistance whenever anyone tries to do something new or different in life. Or we even want to just kind of revamp what we're doing. Self-sabotage can set in, and it can really manifest itself when we encounter triggers. And we talked about this in Portal 1. There are certain situations that can set us back. No matter how much progress we've made, there's certain things that happen that can really just knock us for a loop. There's emotional situations that can just be really heavy and can cause resistance for us. And sometimes even the way we talk to ourselves can really provoke some fear, some insecurity, and even past experiences that can cause us resistance when we are trying to focus on something new, something different, something that's going to help us be able to cultivate more joy in our life. So we want to be able to break that resistance. And when we talked about these in Portal 1, in Cohort 1, there are some resources in there for you to revisit it if you feel like there is some self-sabotage that's causing some resistance for you, even now. And some additional things that we can do when we are feeling that resistance is to reduce the pressure. Just simplify the expectations you have for yourself and focus a little bit more on self-care. Just step back, give yourself permission to take a break and to simply focus on calm. And this simple strategy can really provide you with some clarity and ease when it's time to move forward. Just cut out the pressure. We're pretty good at putting pressure on ourselves. Another way that we can break through some of that resistance is to seek an external perspective. Ask for help. Sometimes you can get someone who's on the outside can provide you with some new insights. They can think of things or look at things differently than you do. So consider working with a coach or a mentor, someone who can offer you some guidance, even a close friend, and someone who can help you see things just a little bit differently so that you can break through some of that resistance that you might be feeling even right now. And then once you have gotten on a roll, we want to sustain that momentum. We want to make joy a lasting habit. And we're going to do that by celebrating the small things, not the big major things. I'll tell you, when you talk about everyday joy, day-to-day joy, it's in the small things. So celebrate the small things and remind yourself to integrate the daily rituals that we've talked about throughout these three cohorts. I would like to encourage you to revisit the exercises and the training videos. Anytime you feel like you want to reinforce some of the things that you've learned so that you can keep that joy at the center of your journey, day in and day out. And speaking of celebrating wins, I wanted to share with you some of the wins that some of my clients have seen throughout some of the courses that they've taken. And on the screen here, you'll see that Tiffany said that I've been able to expand my awareness. And I love to hear that because when we are open to expansion, we are going to meet new levels of growth because we're open, we're expanding. Lori said that she's learning how to identify, plan, and achieve her goals. And it's great to have tools that help you do that. And we're talking about being able to mentally reframe what's happening in your life. And that's what the Courage Hub is all about. And all the resources that we have in there are just opportunities for you to mentally reframe what's going on in your life so that you can have that joy on a daily basis, regardless of what's going on around you. Or when things fall apart, to be able to rebound quicker so that you can get back on track and continue to enjoy a life of fulfillment and contentment. And it's an opportunity really for us to consider what truly matters to us. And one of my clients said it gives her a chance to really, truly consider what she values in her own life for herself and what she values for others and relationships that she wants to facilitate. And so it's just a good space to be when you are able to network with other people, reach out, get support, and every day feel yourself getting stronger and stronger. And then when we talk about integrating these rituals into our daily life, another way for you to continue on, if you would like to expand and keep this joy in the center of your journey, day in and day out, is to consider the 12-week self-expansion program. It is a step-by-step growth pathway, and it is a course that offers new levels of personal growth. There are 12 tailored learning modules that focus on the core areas of personal growth. We talk about our mind, our body, our relationships, and circumstances. In this program, there are goal setting frameworks where you can set and achieve personal goals and professional goals, ensuring that your growth is targeted and impactful. And that's what we want to do. That's what we high achievers want to do. We want to have that impact. We want to be focused and targeted in what we're doing. There's also some interactive tools and exercises in there that can help you track your progress and kind of learn how to actively apply the concepts that we've been learning throughout the Clarity cohorts and also ongoing in the self-expansion program. This particular program is one that I went through myself when I was needing a big change. And you might remember that I said that I ended up on medical leave for 3 months because I was facing chronic migraines and I was in a state of being clinically depressed and I couldn't function anymore. And this program came to me during that time. And there are self-discovery activities in there that really helped me to deepen my self-awareness. And I use those materials even to this day. And that's why I became a self-expansion coach so that I could utilize these materials with my clients because I want them to be able to dig in and understand their unique strengths and areas of growth so that they can do the same. They can utilize some frameworks and some expansion projects to move forward and to reinforce their growth and development. And that's what I want for you. If that's where you're at right now, you're in a position where you want more. You need more. You're craving it. You don't have to be on your deathbed like I was. Where I was only awake 2 or 3 hours at a time, and then I'd have to take a nap. That's how bad it was for me. I was so spiritually, emotionally, and physically fatigued that I could not do much of anything. And I don't want that for you. So if you want to get started with that type of stuff, we have a wait list because the next cohort is not open yet, but it will be. And if you'd like to learn more and be aware of what happens when the next cohort is available, get on the cohort wait list and I will let you know. There's also some perks for those of you who want to sign up for the wait list. We offer scholarships for the coaching program. There's also opportunities to get some one-on-one coaching calls for free, in addition to the group coaching calls that are included in the self-expansion package, and some personalized digital products that I designed just for people that are on the wait list. So I hope that you have found a space to uncover what truly matters most to you. I hope it's the activities that we've talked about, the prompts that I've provided, have been tools to help you move forward with intention and purpose. And I'd love to hear your thoughts and what your takeaways are throughout these 3 clarity cohorts. And I'd like to hear if there's anything that inspired you, that motivated you. Maybe there's things that I didn't cover that you feel would be important for future participants in the Clarity collection. In our portal, there is a survey link for you to click on and share your thoughts with me. And I really would appreciate your feedback. Finally, there is a Q&A in the portal. There's a link that you can click on so that you can go to our Facebook community, Essentials for Peace and Balance, and you can ask questions there. If you have questions on what we've talked about in any of the three cohorts, you are welcome to put those in there. And you're also welcome to touch base with me on a personal level if that's not something that you want to put out there. But sometimes sharing your questions are the same questions that other people have, and we can help support each other in the process. So look for that link in the portal. And I want to end with two quotes for you. The first one is, "You are allowed to be both a masterpiece and a work in progress simultaneously." I love that. And the second one, "Growth is uncomfortable because you've never been there before. Embrace the discomfort. It's a sign that you are on the right path." So thank you so much for joining me for the Clarity Cohort.